Here we go. So I'm going to place my hands on my heart and take that breath of love and gratitude. So grateful for this opportunity to come together, to be the two or more gathered in the name and the nature of love. Grateful for our open hearts and open minds, for our desire to allow the shining away of any and all blocks to love in our minds, for our opening awareness of the teachings of A Course in Miracles and our desire and willingness to apply them to our everyday lives, knowing that it benefits us and that benefit ripples out to all those that we love and all the world. We're grateful to call in all of our earthly and heavenly helpers to love us, support us, guide us, support the technology that we use to come together. Bless each and every one here and all those who may listen later. And we're so grateful to be able to share those blessings and the love that we are with everyone because we are one with them. In grace and gratitude, we let it be. And so it is. Amen. So we are in chapter 25, section 6, the special function. And I'm going to start us off midway through paragraph 7, which I believe is the last. Yep, the last paragraph. Where he says, the Son of God can make no choice the Holy Spirit cannot employ on his behalf, and not against himself. Only in darkness does your specialness appear to be attack. In light, you see it as your special function in the plan to save the Son of God from all attack. And let him understand that he is safe as he has always been and will remain in time and in eternity alike. This is the function given each of you for one another. Take it gently, then, from one another's hand, and let salvation be perfectly fulfilled in both of you. Do this one thing, that everything be given you. And my my insights when I read that section of that paragraph was that as we are able to release our own self-judgments about ourselves, first and foremost, but about everything and everyone, and learn to do that as a part of loving ourselves, bringing all of those things that we judge ourselves about to the light, being transparent with them, with ourselves first and then with others. That's how we get to the salvation of the world. Our healing and releasing of all judgments and forgiving ourselves of all things that we think that we ever did that was wrong is the salvation of the world. And that's what we're interested in. So let's get to it, shall we? Go ahead, Carla.
Oops, I muted myself. So it's that is letting go is forgiveness. That's what I learned in Jennifer's workshop, that when we let go of the meaning, actually we don't make it. The mind or the part of the self that thinks it is separate, makes up stories about everything that is experienced, and then we listen to and we think it's us. We're doing this, and we judge ourselves because we think we're, in a way, we are ego, because the ego is the physical self. It's the part of having the human experience, right? The human. It's not the true self, which is the spirit self, which is the invisible. So that kind of goes along. I don't have my book, so I had to look good on the phone. I can't, oops, something just happened. So I can't mark it like I usually do, but there are two things. I know one is in 2 and one is in 6. In paragraph 2, eyes become used to seeing darkness, and the light of the brilliant day seems painful to the eyes, growing accustomed to the dim effects perceived at twilight. And that reminded me that when we go out into the bright day or whatever, we've been in a room or whatever, lights or something, our light we can't see. We're like, oh, we shield our eyes from the light, but the eyes will grow accustomed to it naturally. We don't have to do anything except, I don't know, my sense is to be willing to go outside and see the light. And so that feels like to me, like, well, it's interesting when we say something feels like, it's actually a thought, but I'm trying to get to 6, but I can't mark it. So in 6, it says, it's the world's laws are not, are imposed upon you. Its values are not yours. So, but we think they are. We've been taught that by other beings who have identified truth as illusion as truth, who thinks this is the way the world works. Does that make it true? It just makes it the way the world works. And I know all of us in our own way, and I can only speak for myself, really. We're all here to change the world. And as we change ourselves, we do change the world. We're like, the ego wants to go, what? Change the world? That's not possible. You can't do that. You're not, this or that. And no, we change ourselves. We don't really change ourselves because that which was created by God cannot be changed. We change our perception of ourselves. We can't learn love because that is what we are. We can't learn. We can learn to choose love. We can't learn love. And as we choose it more consistently, we do. We don't learn it. We remember who we are. Remember the truth. Remember whatever seems appropriate in that moment. Because it came to me, address the appearance, hold the truth. So if your house is burned down or someone is caught in the illusion, you may say something, you don't want to tell them, oh, it's the truth. They'll discover that in their own time, whenever they're ready. So you go, oh, you just hold the truth inside yourself. Oh, I understand. That must be really challenging to feel that way, or whatever they're sharing. So the next line, which are not numbered, it says, its values are not yours, and nothing that you think you've seen in it is really there at all. One of the, I haven't heard it because I don't go all the time, but one of the most beautiful classes that I heard Jennifer's is that appearances are not real. The mind makes up meanings about it and gives them to us. And only love is real. No, and every experience is love in some way. Even the people who fly into the Twin Towers or molest people or rape, do weird, make odd choices, they're really just attempting in their own way. And mine wanted to tell me inadequate, but it's not. They are practicing. Whether they get it and whatever in this lifetime, it's not getting it, but that's another kind of judgment. But I'm going to read something from A Course in Miracles. If I can find it real quick. I think I've read it before. Okay, here it is. The journey to God is merely the reawakening of the knowledge of where you are forever, what you are always. I said that backwards. It is a journey without distance to a goal that has never changed. Truth can only be experienced. It cannot be described and it cannot be explained. And this is where I go off it, but it says, I can make you aware of the conditions of truth. I'm sure it's the Holy Spirit. It's the truth that is within each of us. But the experiences are of God. Together we can meet its conditions, but truth will dawn upon you of itself. I thought I knew. I heard this line in a song, love is all you came here for, nothing less. And when I heard that line in a song, my rest of the song didn't really stand out to me, but that line did. And once I heard that line, I knew why I was here. I was here to love, to extend love, to allow love, to love myself, to just be loved. Nothing else. Nothing else is fulfilling. My mind wants to go into, because I'm in a hotel room. I'm paying like, I don't know, it's $700, and I'm going on to another hotel room. It's gonna be another $1,500. And mine wants to go, oh my gosh, it wants to go, but it's fine. I'm fine. Everything is fine. We cannot fail. I'm here to love. There's nothing else I am interested in. Nothing else I'm interested in extending or receiving. Because in each instance, there is love. Look for the love. You'll find it. It will find you, because love will finds itself in every experience. So that's what I have to share. Thank you. In group.
Thank you, Carla. You know, when you were speaking, a few things came to me. The first was the where he says the eyes become used to darkness and the light of brilliant day seems painful to the eyes grown long accustomed to the dim effects perceived at twilight. And it just reminds me of how when I first started seriously on my journey of forgiveness and awakening, and I was starting to realize, even though I thought that I was not a judgmental person, how many judgments I held against myself and everybody else. And it was like, holy crap. You know, I can't go a few seconds without having a judgment. And And it is that, like, my eyes were in darkness to my judgments. I was not aware of them. So when I started to see them, it was like daggers in my eyes, you know? So that makes complete sense. But you know, awareness is curative. And you know, even in the 12-step programs, that's one of the first things they tell you is, you know, admitting you have the problem, which the problem is judgment. And it's not really a problem, it's just something to learn from. That's the beginning of the healing process. And the other thing that came to me was how forgiveness and self-forgiveness in particular encourages us to focus on the light. And you know, I've heard Jennifer saying, it may even say in A Course in Miracles, focus on the light and the darkness will take care of itself. And what that brings to my mind is in the Water the Great Mystery video that's on our Masterful Living movies that we can watch, Dr. Emoto's experiments that he did with ice water, ice crystals that were formed formed using words such as love and gratitude, and formed using words such as hate and anger and ugliness, and also the experiment that he did with the rice, where, you know, there was a bag of rice that he was talking lovingly to, and a bag of rice that he was saying nasty things to, and then another bag of rice, or container of rice, I should say, that was being completely ignored. And how the mold formed the worst on what was being completely ignored, what was not being acknowledged at all. And then the next one that was kind of nasty was the one that was being spoken to in a negative manner. And of course, the one that was being spoken words of love was the one that remained the freshest, the longest. And, you know, so it's that way with us. We're all made of the same thing. So if we can let go of our opinions about everything, you know, which may take some time, but I don't know, it comes back to that, what my dad's friend Doug used to say to him all the time: do you want to be right, or do you want to be happy?
You know, Linda, that's a wonderful book. I have it. I think it's Messages in Water. And as you were saying that, it just made sense to me. I think we're, 92% water ourselves. So,
yes.
I mean, of course, those messages would resonate. And like I said, that's just a wonderful book, and it's so graphic about the effect of thought. And I went through the same thing as you did, as about as recognizing my judgments, like, holy cow. I mean, sometimes a complete stranger would be walking by, and I'd find myself making this judgment. And recently, I think it finally clicked with me that when we do that, we're actually harming ourselves. There's a harm in it to ourselves personally.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And that leads me to my next point.
Go ahead.
Is that the repetition of the book is really starting to make sense. I mean, I think we really do have to be hammered over the head multiple times to have this begin to sink in.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah, so it really is our own work to do to treat ourselves loving and kind and gentle and tender, and know that as we're focusing on those things, on those ways that we're lifting ourselves up, that we're also lifting up all those around us, because we're one. So, yeah. Thank you, Deborah.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Carol, go ahead.
I have to leave early, so I have to get my 2 cents in. Hi, everybody. Love you today. I starred paragraph 5, and I think it's saying exactly what we just said a minute ago. Here, where the laws of God do not prevail in perfect form, can he yet do one perfect thing and make one perfect choice? And by this act of special faithfulness to one perceived as other than himself, he learns the gift was given to himself, so that they must be one. There it is. The oneness, not separate. We think we're judging this other person. Well, we're not. There is no other person. And so to remember that forgiveness is the only function meaningful in time. That means on this planet, right? It is the means the Holy Spirit uses to translate specialness from sin into salvation. Forgiveness is for all. But when it rests on all, it is complete, and every function of this world completed with it. Then is time no more. Then you've entered heaven. Yet while in time, there's still much to do, and each must do what is allotted him, for on his part does all the plan depend. So yes, we all have a part to play. We all have direction and how to do it, and when and with whom. We all have our little jobs. He has a special part in time, for so he chose, and choosing it, he made it for himself. His wish was not denied, but changed in form to let it serve his brother and himself, and thus become a means to save instead of lose. I love the fact that things that we think in this world that we've done or whatever is totally inside out and upside down. God takes it and changes it. The very stuff, I'm just going to say really quick. I had an experience with my older son. He kept time and again would ask me to talk about my past, my brother who passed 20, almost 30 years ago, who I adored. And I've really never I don't believe I've ever fully healed from his passing. It was so difficult for me. And he keeps wanting to dig and learn and know why and how and my parents and my home life and blah, 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 blah. And each time I would get sick because it upset me so, and I held that upset. I couldn't let go of that upset because it was very painful for me to discuss these things. Well, Carla, my dear sweet Carla, helped me understand that was my very healing. The very thing that I looked at as hard, difficult, painful, and I didn't want to talk to my son after that. I'd get real shy about talking to him because I'm thinking, oh my God, is he going to do that again? But it's my healing. It's the exact opposite to what I always thought was going on. This kid who drives me crazy a whole lot, or used to, he's actually awakening. Thank God. He's only 48 years old, but he sees the light. He gets it. He's beginning to get it. And he said, Mom, I know this is for your healing. I was like, you could have knocked me right down with a feather. What? Oh, yeah, he said. As wild and woolly and weird as he could be, for most of his life, he's extremely spiritually sensitive. Now that he's on track and choosing differently, it's amazing to me. So let me just tell you that if you can think of things in your life that you've always perceived as hard, difficult, challenging, just you don't want to go there, give it to God and ask, what's the real meaning of this? What it's in your life, it's in my life for good. Everything, everything. I don't get sick anymore because I am aware of what's now gone on. Carla knew it. She was, observing from the outside. She saw it. I was too enmeshed in it to see the truth, but it's all good. There's really nothing that isn't love, that isn't from God's love to us. Nothing. I mean, I'm fine. I had shingles, for heaven's sakes, the first time, but I don't have any effects of it. I'm absolutely fine. The second time was a stomach bug. And so now the third time, I'm absolutely fine. I handle it great because I know and I understand God's intention for me through this. And it changed my entire outlook of my child. So look at all that's been accomplished with what seemed to be this terrible thing. I wanted to just share that with you. Hope it helps. I hope somebody can relate to it. I love you guys. I have to leave in a few minutes and go babysit my grandkids in Pennsylvania.
Aw, thank you,
Just
Sherry.
sending you my love.
Thank you so much for that. Safe travels to Pennsylvania. Tammy and then Nancy Gal.
Trying to get the unmute button. Hello, everyone. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to share because my little one is in the car and he just yells every time he hears me speaking. So beware. So yes, I think forgiveness is the missing piece of our puzzle. For me, it surely is. It surely have been. And I didn't really know that until I started taking classes with Jennifer. And then one day I was listening to her podcast and she talked about Colin Tippin, and my heart just said, yes, this is what you need. And so I have been taking Colin Tippin Radical Forgiveness coaching program. I'm almost finishing it. And what that have taught me about forgiveness and love and how perfect my life has been and how to embrace my weeds, my pain, the things that I was just so afraid to look for and to see it in just this loving light. I think that is just where the miracle is. That change, that change in the way we see things, change in the perception. And, I am realizing as I go through this program and just be willing to forgive and to return to my innocence, how most of my life I've really lived in what I consider to be dead, quote unquote, just this density. And now I'm truly understanding what Jennifer talks about when she explains, having this dense energy, the heaviness. And now when I feel things coming up, I can feel which part of my body it is, and that I can just give it that sort of tender love, or, see the story as it is and forgive. And in the end, really, there is absolutely nothing to forgive because everything is just perfect. Everything is in divine order. And it's a really large pill to swallow, that our enemy loves us, right? That our enemy loves us. The people that we think are violating us and hurting us are really there to love us and to give us that sense of pain so that we can wake up into the fullness and to remember that we are just infinite flow of love, and to release that sort of energy blocks. And so forgiveness has really helped me, especially with my relationship with my mother. Oh my God, thank God. And my mother and I had such a terrible, I've talked about that so openly, and what forgiveness have done. And just to see my mother in her pureness, to see my mother as I see myself. There are places that I can go back into my memory, and where I have seen nothing but pain and hate and anger and tension from my mother, what is showing up now is just love. What is showing up now, I can see colors now. I can see the dress that I was wearing. I can see my mother's smile. And that was only because of forgiveness, like deep forgiveness, not bygone being bygones, but just seeing that it's perfect. Everything is perfect. My mom was just doing her curriculum, right? It was just doing what her soul is here to do for me. And so, now my mom and I can, my mom used to text me even while I was going through forgiveness. And oh my gosh, the text would just make me feel so angry. I can feel my heart closing up. And what true forgiveness and the innocence of forgiveness have really taken it away. Where now my mom and I mean, she's in a whole different country, but 2 days a week, I mean, we do virtual walking together. We talk all the time. And I can feel, I pay attention to what am I feeling when my mom texts me. And there is just nothing but light. There's a lightness in that, that energy have really moved away, moved to something so much more beautiful and so much more loving and embracing. So I am just so grateful and thankful for forgiveness. And I so happy that I learned what true forgiveness is. It's not, I mean, yes, everybody have a price to pay in the human world, but just returning to my innocence and returning to my pureness, and just loving the souls, loving everyone who have helped me get to the place where I am. And it's a continuing ho'oponopono that I use every single day, just kind of asking the universe to ripple out that forgiveness for me and that love for me to everyone that I hated and just hold grievances towards. So I just wanted to share my 2 cents on forgiveness, how it have really, really helped me moved from what I consider really dead to now I am actually living, and I can feel that I'm living. So have a great day, everyone.
Mhm. Thank you,
Tammy,
Tammy.
what is that program you mentioned?
It's the Colin Tippin have a radical forgiveness program, radical forgiveness, radical self-love, radical acceptance. And it's really powerful. I mean, if you reach out to me, I can help you with some of the worksheets, and it's just a tool that just moves the energy. It takes you all the way back to the beginning of where you felt these sort of emotions, and it pretty much just dissolve it. It's you don't really know how it's work. It's like a quantum leap, into this kind of newness, and it's just really powerful. So yeah.
Can you put something in the chat?
I will.
So I okay, go ahead. Yes, please,
I'll
because
do
I'm
it for you,
driving.
honey.
Thank you so much. All right, guys, have a great day.
You too. Thank you, Tammy. It's just reminding me, like, the way that A Course in Miracles looks at forgiveness is that nothing wrong happened, period. And that's what we're headed toward. Nancy Gale, go ahead.
Well, I think pretty much everything's been said. I was just what I wanted to. I read this as I went to bed last night, and my prayer partner. What I've been feeling. since I moved here, I have been immersed all the way back into all of the stuff, from growing up and all the horror and all that crap. Pardon me. And it's like, and yesterday when my prayer partner, what I wanted, or what I've been wanting, is clarity on what my purpose is for this. I use the word purpose for the end of my life here, and trying to figure out. I don't know if I'm going to stay here or not. It's like one floor. There's three little buildings, like the three little. Okay, point being. Anyways, and I said that's what I wanted to pray about, was my function, my purpose for the rest of my life and everything. And then when I went to bed, I read this and I said, "Oh, I do have a purpose, function, my function here, my purpose." I said, "Oh, well, that's it. That was the answer." And how quickly it's like lesson 361. Ask for what you want. If you need a thought or an idea or whatever, I get it. And it's like almost, there's like no time. There's hardly any time between me asking for what I need, if I need a new perspective or something, and when I get the idea, when it comes, it's just like, it happens. But this was the major one, because it's like, okay, now it just was awesome. And it was like, and it says, salvation is no more than a reminder of the truth. I mean, that this world is not your home. Its laws are not imposed on you. Its values are not yours. And nothing you think you see in it is really there at all. This is seen and understood as each one takes his part in its undoing, as he did in making it. He has the means for either one, as he always did. The specialness he chose to hurt himself, that God appoint to be the means for his salvation, from the very instant the choice was made. His special sin, quote, judgment, whatever, was made his special grace. His special hate became his special love. And my mother's same thing, Tammy. My mother's the one, the hate. But and that's what I went to sleep with. That one. I was like, all this time I'm thinking, why am I here? What's the purpose of all this? And there was the answer. And it was only, it was only a few hours between. And it's just like, it was so simple. And is it Joel Goldsmith says, the only time it takes to have, what do you call it?
A healing?
The healing is the time it takes to have the realization, that realization. And that's the healing. It happens like that, just like that. There's nothing to do. It's like, anyways, we had this, we think it's an ash trees here are all they're all dead. And at the back of this, there's the back of this little house building here is like a row of pines, and it goes all the way down from the road, all the way down to here, and right there is this huge. I don't know how to tell heights, and it's hundreds of feet tall, and it's all dead, and it goes up. Well, Saturday was like, big huge branch fell right on the corner of the hair, right on the ramp, and I couldn't get out. Splintered, its pieces flew everywhere. And apparently the same thing happened before I moved here a few months ago on the the little house building on that over on their side. And apparently landlords, there's nothing he can do. Quote, there's nothing I can do. There's nothing the code enforcer can do. We've tried. The people that own the tree apparently said he can't afford to take it down. But they told me he can afford to fix his garage and build a garage and do all the improvement of his property. Well, anyways, luckily it didn't do any damage, to the. But and it's like I've been so calm. It's like I don't understand. Things go wrong, and it's like I'm calm. Why am I so calm? I used to get like hyper and like that, and for a long time periods of time. I don't get like that anymore. It's like this is not me. This isn't the old me.
That's
But
because work in the invisible.
yeah, it's happening. I don't know if I'll be staying here because it's right. It's like a slab of cement and then a building, and there's water. It's just like, and inside, like, especially in my bedroom, if it gets that musty, mildewy, whatever, and even my clothes are hanging up, it's like, but it smells like, it's like me allergic to all that. And I'm thinking my lungs are, so I don't know. But this, perfect, that section is like, it was like the special function. That's the title. And I'm thinking, fine. Okay, so fine. I chose it. Okay, thank you. But anyway, it's such a healing because the forgiveness means releasing. That's what, and it's like I said, I did not understand what forgiveness really was. And it's just so simple, just letting go of all the illusion. I'm going to stop now, but this was, Carol and Tammy, and it's like, and Carla, it's like, that's simple. It's just so simple.
Yeah. Thank you, Nancy Gale. Leslie, and then Kathleen.
Hi, everyone. Feels like I haven't been in the group in a while. I'm unmuted, right? Okay, good.
Yes, you are.
Okay, thank you. I just have to mention that I am extremely grateful that my mom and I are actually spiritual partners. And I listened to something a couple of weeks ago, and he was just talking about spiritual partnerships, and he said it's extreme. He's like, it can happen. It's extremely rare that it happens in biological relationships, but it can actually happen. So I was like, oh my gosh, my mom and I have a rare holy relationship. So I just spent a week with her. We were just at a little cabin on a lake, and we just basically talked for 6 days. I don't know, and it was always deep spiritual stuff. It was so loving and so wonderful. So I know I am very, very blessed when I hear a lot of people have problems with their mothers. So I know it's a rare, special gift. And I know my different prayer partners have told me what a rare, special gift that is. So that was really cool. And I just wanted to share just one miracle with you all, because I just think this is a perfect example how we can learn through ease and grace. So for 6 years now, I've been coming this basically the same way to work. And I go down this one side road, and it's usually either early in the morning or it's like at 6 o'clock at night. And the speed limit is 30. Okay. I see that the speed limit's 30. Usually I go about 45 because I want to get home. Nobody is there. Nobody is around. So for some reason, I don't know how this happens, because it's not like I had the thought I should slow down. I just found myself, I was going 30 miles an hour, and I just set the cruise to go down this road. At the bottom of a hill, there's a police officer. I mean, that's the first time in 6 years I've ever seen a police officer there. I mean, what are the chances of me not speeding and actually seeing a police officer? I mean, I just thought that was, I hesitate to call it a miracle because I was doing something bad, by speeding and not following the law. And yet I just felt like my guardian angel was like, put your cruise on, you don't need a ticket or points, and it doesn't need to cost you money to learn and so since then I have been going slower. So I just thought that was a cool little miracle I wanted to share.
That's awesome. Leslie, you're following the laws of God.
I love it, Linda. Thank you. And the other little thing was I stopped on my way from work at one of the stores that is called Bordine's, that they have plants there. Store is totally just about empty. And one of the workers came up from behind with a little teeny baby snapping turtle. I mean, it totally made my day. And he was showing it to the cashier. And I just thought, what are the chances of me being in that store when that guy was showing a baby turtle, which totally made my day? I mean, a lot of things had to go exactly right for me to see that baby turtle. And it just makes me think, you know what, God, I don't need to worry about anything. Everything just falls into place. It really does. If we just trust. And Nancy Gail, it just makes me so happy to hear that you are handling the dead trees with calmness and peace in your heart, because that is always my aspiration, is to know the peace of God and to allow the day to unfold as it will. By you getting upset, it's not going to change, not going to make them trees not be dead anymore. I mean, they're still going to be just as dead, whether you're calm about it or excitable about it. So good for you. That is big kudos. I think you should be extremely proud of yourself, because that was big. That was really big. I can tell that was a big moment for you, because I know I've had moments like that too, where I'm like, wow, I'm not overreacting about that. Who am I? It's such a great feeling. And Hamira, one last thing I just want to mention. I don't get to see your beautiful face today, but that's okay. Again, this was a miracle to me too, because my mom and I have gone away together for a week for several years now. And one time we talked a lot about the work with Katie Byron. I know we'll talk about, of course, miracle. It seems like we have a theme usually. And this year, I thought it was going to be the book Vibe Higher, which I've not read yet, but I thought maybe we could read that. And then I was listening to Jennifer Hadley on my way home, and a podcast from Temple Hayes came on, and she talked about the gift of maybe. That's the title of the book. And so we bought the book and we read it on Kindle. And I'm not telling you what to do, Hamira, but I think it would really, really help you, because it just talks about when you are uncertain in life. And I can't remember who was just talking about this, about their past. When something you think terrible happens, it's called a reverse maybe. And you can actually ask yourself, well, I need an example of what happened, but the book is really a great read. I mean, it's a great read. And she wrote it back in 2014. And then her husband of 27 years left her in 2018 after she had written this book. So she had to actually do the work that she recommended doing in this book. And basically it teaches you that when there's something uncertain in your life, to ask different, to open up your heart by asking maybe. Maybe God's giving, like if your son doesn't call you for 2 weeks and you're wondering, is he alive or dead? And your mind is going through all these horrible scenarios, well, maybe his phone isn't working, or, it's just, I'm not explaining it very well, but the book is really good. It was just really, I guess the miracle was that it was just the day before we left that God gave me that book for our trip. So
Leslie, do you mind texting the title to me?
Yes, honey. I was going to do that anyway, because her next book that she wrote after that was A Year Without Men. Sorry, Ted, but because her husband left her for 27 years, and then her business partner of 20 years left her, and they both left her in the same week.
Oh
So
God.
it was, I haven't read the second book yet, but the first book was very powerful. So yes, Samira, I will I will text that to you.
Thank you, beautiful Leslie. Thank you. I love
course.
you.
I love you too. Thanks, everyone. It's great to be here. I missed being here the last 2 weeks. And Robin, your hair is getting so long and you look so happy with your beautiful smile.
Leslie, can you put that in the chat? I didn't catch the author and stuff. Okay.
Okay, yep, we'll do.
Thank you, Leslie.
Mhm.
We love you, Ted. We don't want to have a year without you.
No, we don't.
Kathleen.
Yeah, hi, everybody. It's good to be here. I wondered about whether to share this or not. I attended a online workshop with Robert Perry and the Circle of Atonement people, and it was on meditation. And they went through the text, the Manual for Teacher, and the lessons, and found out all these places where Jesus recommends that we meditate. But for some reason, the word meditate is not in the course. Maybe never, maybe once. But it was really excellent. I've always had a hard time meditating. So the difference is what they were pointing out between like Vipassana meditation and mindfulness meditation is that you don't pay much attention to your body at all. You get comfortable, you make sure that you're not going to fall asleep. But then you purposefully, you hold on to a purpose of descending or ascending or going through the cloud of thoughts. And then you hold on to the purpose of making conscious contact with God. And they didn't say conscious contact, but your intention is to know God. And you sit there, like Jesus in one lesson said, sit 5 minutes every hour, or 20 minutes at the beginning of the day, or 30 minutes at the end. Those are all Jesus asking us to meditate. And you don't just float around and feel comfortable and relaxed. You actually intend to meet God. And so you keep this intention and you hold on to that meeting God thing. And then your whole day can shift. Now, it's still hard for me to do it, but I just wanted to share that there is this, I don't know if you can get it on replay, but it was a really good workshop on how the Course in Miracles is asking us to meditate. And here's the differences between what's called meditation today in the world at large, which is mostly mindfulness and Vipassana, where you just sit and you relax. And of course, you might end up going to God, but it's also holding this intention in your mind and ignoring your body completely. So anyway, just thought I'd share that.
Thank you, Kathleen. That's really helpful. And it's funny because I have that sense of like how so many different things can be meditation. They don't necessarily have to look like you're sitting in a lotus position or cross-legged on the floor, chanting Om. And I do love to set an intention before I do a meditation of any kind. Yeah, so thank you for bringing that back to my awareness. And it's interesting too, because this morning I got a message from my friend who's also my Kundalini yoga and dance teacher, that her emotional support animal was transitioning. And so I did my morning practice that I would usually be doing with her on my own, holding her and her cat Peony in my heart while I was doing it. And you may have noticed me being a little distracted here. She did just message me while we were all here together that Peony has passed. So my intention is that all of the love that we are producing here, that she will be able to feel that. Thank you. Carla.
Thank you. So I want to address a couple of things that it's taken me, not fully there yet, but I'm getting there. We're all getting there. We're all getting there in our own way. Is that I used to identify with myself as the judger. And I used to judge the judgments. I was like, I was making poo in my mind, and I was adding poo to poo, right? Yeah, I've something shifted within me that I think it was I read lesson, I think it's 98. I am spirit. I am spirit. I'm just having this human experience, and then in the human experience, the mind, the part of the mind that thinks is separate, makes up all these friggin' meanings, and it gives them to me, and I used to think they were me. In a way, it is part of me, I guess, because I'm part of the human. I'm not just the human, right? That seems like that has been a very difficult, challenging, whatever you're gonna call it, and thing to overcome, believing the mind, believing the self, the mind, the voice that I hear. So that speaks loudest and first, ego. To recognize it is in the 5th paragraph, I think, in about the Violet Flame book, which is so valuable, is that our intention of our embodiment in this schoolroom of earth was for us to, and that was the key, to learn to use our thoughts and feelings to co-create patterns of perfection with God, which is to love, right? That's what we're doing. We're all remembering who we are. So I used to do Instagram every day, but I wrote this one thing just while we're sitting here. I just wanted to read it and share. Remember, there is only love. If something is uncomfortable or unpleasant, it is because you have chosen something other than love. And do not worry about that or judge yourself. If you feel uncomfortable, it's only because that which you have chosen is coming up for healing. Allow it to come. You are not wrong or bad. I am not wrong or bad. Nobody here, no matter what the odd choices they make, are wrong or bad. I had a dream, I don't know, 25 years ago, about killing my family. I killed every single person in my family. And then I woke up and I was judging myself for having done that. That's what we do. This is an illusion, a dream. And then we judge ourselves for something we've done in the illusion, in the dream. And I realized when I had that dream, I was judging myself for something I just dreamt. I didn't kill my family. I mean, whether here or not, whatever, in this form experience, he's still here around. I didn't kill them. And I was judging myself for thinking for a dream. No, that was my healing. That dream was my healing, to remember that I've judged myself for my choices. But only love is real. So how can I ever, I'm making those choices real by judging them in a way. They're not real. They're my learning to use my thoughts and feelings to co-create patterns of perfection with God, love. And what I do, I love myself. And whatever I choose, whatever happens, it's not that I've chosen wrongly and I drag this, the I am is guiding me, gently guiding me through my experiences. I didn't recognize it for years. I do now. Every experience is love. I am just giving me that experience so I can choose again. So I can recognize love is all I desire. Thank you.
Thank you, Carla. On that note.
Linda, I'm so sorry, I have to go, but I just got a text that my nephew's positive for COVID, so I just wanted to ask everybody to pray for him.
Oh.
He's the one that works in a prison, so, yeah, my mom picked up the baby today from him, so I'm sure she's fine and everybody's fine, just, I know Luke's not feeling well right now, so I would just appreciate prayers for him and my family.
Absolutely.
Thank you all.
Thank
Love you guys. See you next week.
Love you. All right. So next week, we will continue chapter 25, section 7, the rock of salvation. Let us rock the rock of salvation. Yeah. So I'm going to read, which seems appropriate for everything that seems to be going on in the world and all that people are dealing with and going through, just holding the light for all of them. So my workbook lesson today is 264, and the insights from Pathway of Light are this. Lesson 264, I am surrounded by the love of God. Salvation's prayer is being willing to remember the truth. Salvation's prayer is being willing to remember that everything is still as love created it. We are still like God. No matter what dreams we dream, we are still in heaven and have never left. We are surrounded by the love of God. When fearful dreams come, we can learn to step back and not place our belief in them. We can learn to return to the truth that we are indeed surrounded by the love of God. We cannot be harmed. We are safe because we are still as God created us. Dreams of separation are pretend. They are foolish children's games. Salvation's prayer reminds us to let them go. When we let go of our childish dreams, the truth that we are still in heaven will return to our mind. In truth, we never left God. We never left love. We only dreamed we did, and dreams are not real. We now allow ourselves to be carried as we relinquish making decisions on our own. We quit taking the dream so seriously. We lighten up and allow love to replace our fears. We allow peace to restore the awareness of love's presence, which is everywhere because love is all there is. Today, I will allow myself to remember the truth that only love is real. Today's lesson is very comforting to me. I can never be without love. I can deny its presence and thus experience lack of love, but love still surrounds me and is in me. My denial does not change it. Denial only makes me unaware of it. If I experience fear, all that is happening is that I am denying the presence of love. I find it helpful to remind myself whenever I do not feel at peace that I am surrounded by the love of God. Sometimes I have to repeat this over and over, but when I do, I eventually feel a shift. Peace returns once again. I welcome the Holy Spirit's vision. What appeared to be a threat is now overlooked. I recognize that the love I am cannot be threatened. Sometimes I look around me at all the images that seem to fill my world, trees and buildings, cars and people walking about, and remind myself I am surrounded by the love of God. I feel its safety washing over me. I see the love beyond the image of a tree or of a coworker. Judgment falls away. I gain a glimpse of the sameness we share, which is the love of God. As I walk in this remembrance that I am surrounded by the love of God, I walk in gratitude and joy. I am serene and peace is my companion. Ego images may act out fear, but I know my safety cannot be disturbed. This is what comes when I remember I am surrounded by the love and peace of God. I experienced seeing the love beyond the image today. As this happened to me, I noticed a reciprocal response from the person involved, even though he had no idea what was going on with me, at least not on a conscious level. What I am experiencing over and over is that how I feel is affecting other people. I am seeing that my feelings and my thoughts are stronger and have more effect than what I say. I am surrounded by the love of God. I'm surrounding all of you with the love of God right now. I thank you all for being here today, and have a beautiful week. I'll see you soon.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Love
Bye for
and
now.
blessings.
Love you.
Mm.